Mike, we have had a lot of guests on this show so far, and hopefully we're going to have many more. But this week we had a very we had a very fun experience that I think everybody's going to have a really fun time listening to. And hopefully if you are watching this podcast and seeing our ugly mugs talking about this every week, then you will get to see extra fun expressions as
Yeah.
normally we have creators on. We have, we've had all different people, but this week we had a comics journalist.
If you are used to YouTube and the internet, where the thumbnail is always of someone looking shocked, then undoubtedly you will have seen the thumbnail for this week's episode, because I think it accurately reflects what you're about to experience,
Yeah,
what we have already experienced, and it's wonderful. So on this episode,
it's
we
so
are
good.
talking about this book. I mean, this is the web shop edition of the Judgement on Gotham anniversary edition. I look at the size of that thing;
It's massive.
twice the size of my big head. And by John Wayne Island Grant and Simon Bisley. It is out this week in the UK only, I'm afraid, Earthlets. However, we thought that rather than just us talk about it, we would get a guest on who could talk about the Batman of it all. And comics
And so
journalist, go on.
well, I was gonna say, and then obviously we got another American.
We got another American. Well, because it's a cultural exchange thing. So we got Alex Jaffe, who's a columnist for DC.com. He does the Insert Credit podcast, general DC comics expert and Batman aficionado. And we thought it'd be really interesting to see, because he said he'd not read Judgment on Gotham before. And so we thought it'd be really interesting to see what he thought. We were not prepared
And it
for
was, in
what
fact,
was
very
coming.
interesting.
Yeah, someone in this podcast comes out of his corner swinging, and it ain't me, and it ain't Chloe. So we really hope you enjoy this episode of
In orbit every Wednesday.
Get 2000 AD now. Get.
Boragthon Earthlets. Welcome to In Orbit Every Wednesday. I am your host, Molch-R. This is your host, Chloe. And on this episode, we are joined by it's columnist for DC.com, host of the Insert Credit podcast, DC comics expert and Batman aficionado, Alex Jaffe. Welcome to In Orbit Every Wednesday, Alex. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Thank you for having an excuse to invite an American comics guy on the most British comics podcast.
Look, everybody, it's an American man this time.
Yeah. There's so few of us.
They're taking over. We're recording this not long after the July 4th weekend, so clearly, they're finally invading.
Well, what's funny too is when you said columnist, I thought you said colonist. Welcome to the colonist.
Yeah, I'm colonizing this podcast, I suppose.
Truly.
I mean, it's a little rich for an Englishman to accuse anyone else of colonizing anything. To be quite frank.
Oh.
But yes, wonderful. We are on here to chat about Batman Dredd, Judgment on Gotham, which the anniversary edition, you can, if you're on YouTube, you can see me kind of waving that until my webcam breaks.
It's so big and so small at the same time.
It's absolutely gigantic. So just to hand, I have the recent Alan Moore book, which is nice and chunky, but to give you an idea of the difference in size, that is really quite something. Now this has been scanned in from not the original artwork because that's scattered to the four winds, but our archivists and reprographics team found the original film, the printing film, in our archive where it is long laid dormant, and so this is probably as good a reproduction of the artwork as there's ever going to be. They've done an absolute bang up job. Previous editions, a lot of it was scanned from old comics, and so you got like the moire effect on some of the pages and whatnot. But yeah, so this is absolutely gorgeous, and I wanted to take this opportunity to have Alex on to talk about Judgment on Gotham, because you've only just read this, haven't you, Alex?
This is my first read, correct?
Wow,
Yay!
incredible.
First of all, I do want to say right off the bat, as it were, do you know this comic has a different title in America? In the UK, this comic is called Batman Dredd Judgment on Gotham.
Yeah.
Here, it's called Batman Dredd Judgment on Gotham, but with only one E in the word judgment.
For those who can't see, Chloe is holding her face in her hand. I mean, what's the emotion there, Chloe?
Aw.
Yeah.
Like, just flabbergasted.
I could argue all day about when Americans and when Brits have the right and the wrong of spelling and pronunciation, but I gotta give it to you on Judgment.
Well,
I
was
don't know
gonna
why
say,
we
we do
dropped
not-
that E.
In no way do we have the right.
No,
You know,
not here. I will not stand for a U in color, but on Judgment, you're 100% right over there. You are the law.
I do like how it's also with the extra E. It's also a kind of bit of a pun. On
Judge Dredd. Yeah.
Yeah.
You lose that in the American version. It feels like the inferior product.
So aside from that, give us your as a Batman reader, as a DC Comics aficionado, give us this. I mean, I'm so jealous. Like I read this in when did it come out? 1994. So why did you just pull a face, Chloe?
No,
1992.
Yeah.
Oh, 1992. All right, okay. Well, I mean, that tells you how long ago it was.
Yeah.
I've lost my mind.
35th anniversary.
Right.
Donut.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah, it was like the end of 1991, beginning in 1992. You know, with these comics are usually post-dated by 2 months, so it's kind of in that nether zone between 91 and 92. So yeah. At this time, Alan Grant was the biggest name in Batman. He was so big that it wasn't long after this that they literally invented a whole new Batman title just for him to keep writing it while they experimented with other stuff. He was the Scott Snyder, the Tom King of his day, the main Batman guy. So it doesn't, like, if you're going to do a Batman Judge Dredd crossover, you get Alan Grant for it. But I think in reading this, in like the tone of these two characters meeting, it feels less like a Batman comic in execution. I'd love to know your read on how much this feels like a Dredd comic. And it feels more like the other comic that Alan Grant was known for at the time, his Lobo series. It feels like it has that very kind of visceral, silly tone to it, where it's not so much about satire and it's not so much about taking itself seriously, but it's about spectacle. And that's not necessarily bad. We get a lot of great imagery throughout this whole book. There's just like the stuff with Scarecrow in particular is really great. Although I was disappointed by the fact that we have Scarecrow in this book, and it's a perfect opportunity to see what makes Judge Dredd scared. And we never see him use that fear gas on Judge Dredd.
Chloe has opinions. I can they're almost bursting out of her head.
Yeah. So I think I think that your comment on the Lobo thing is not far off base at all. And part of that absolutely comes down to the Grant Bisley whirlwind
Oh yeah.
tornado clusterfuck combo, where it's
I'm a
because
huge fan of Wagner and Bisley's Boba Fett comics. I think that's some
yeah,
of the strongest Star Wars stuff.
but it's like it's I think something, and we've talked about this on this podcast before. Something that uh, the British invasion did bring to American comics, I feel, especially to DC Comics,
Hmm.
was not only just the grimdark cynicism, which 2000 AD excels at, but I think that particularly with this crossover, it also brings the realization that you don't being goofy as hell, something
Hmm.
being silly and outlandish and surreal, and something being grim and grotty and all this stuff, those are not mutually exclusive. They go together, and they go
The
together
Garth Ennis factor.
beautifully. Yeah, it's like it's the art. I feel like, yeah, it's the art of not taking yourself too seriously. It's
Hmm.
almost an abandonment of seriousness for sincerity.
Right.
And
I
yeah,
I did notice that, like, one of the characters in particular, the Mean Machine, keeps dropping Bastich throughout the series, which is kind of Lobo's catchphrase. I want to know, like, is that something that happens in Judge Dredd comics, or is it just happening here?
no, that's Bisley being a dick. That is Simon once again being given free, and I know this firsthand. I
Yeah.
worked for Simon for a very long time, and I know for a fact, after hearing far too many stories far too many times, that he was basically just let off his leash. He
Yeah.
was let off his leash, which was not all that strong to begin with, and was told, go, make whatever the hell you want. And sure enough, he made whatever the hell he wanted. And they later kind of filled in the pieces where they were like, we have no idea what Simon was doing here, how much coke had he done, we're going to try and just make this work. And it works so great. And it's the same, it's the Lobo principle,
Right.
right? Where it's fill in the gaps, it's going to be funny, and it's going to be brutal and really cool.
Notably, Lobo is the only other DC character to cross over with Judge Dredd. 1996's Psycho Bikers versus the Mutants from Hell, another Alan Grant, John Wagner joint with Valsa Makes on art. So I feel like when you get Dredd over here, it's always kind of in that very bombastic, silly zone. And I feel like my main point of reference for who Judge Dredd is as a character, as kind of a basic bitch Judge Dredd person, is the 2012 Dredd movie, which takes itself a little more seriously, but is so cool. But it has like this satirical aspect to it, which I felt was missing from this book. Like, I feel like you could have done a lot with Judge Dredd criticizing and analyzing how justice works in the revolving system of Gotham City. And we just do not get any of that analysis here. It's not interested in that at all.
I think it's also it's kind of worth noting where this sits in the
Yeah.
history of Judge Dredd as
Please.
a character,
Yeah, that's
and
what I was
the
curious
production of Judge Dredd, because I this is kind of a long way around. Chloe has to put up with this every single week, but this is a long way around. But
Welcome.
the British invasion, particularly in terms of what of how it reacted to Alan Moore's work,
Mhm.
Watchmen, etc., was that kind of the grimdark stuff, all the big muscly, very angsty kind of things, and that was really kicking. You'd got Frank Miller's work as well, so it was really starting to kick in in the early 90s. When did Image come along? Was that a little bit
90,
later?
94.
94, right? Okay, so
Oh God, please don't get me in trouble for that. Close enough. Fine.
1992.
Oh, there you go. So it's, I mean, it's all on a very short space of time, and and an awful. I think it's an undervalued aspect of the British invasion. Is Judge Dredd, is the influence of Judge Dredd, is the influence of John Wagner and Alan Grant on the way on the wave of people who came in to begin with, but then also the second British invasion, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. I mean, you mentioned Garth Ennis there. I mean, if there's a writer who is a byproduct of John Wagner and Alan Grant's
For
writing,
real.
that's him. So at the same time, Wagner and Grant had been writing together since I think 1980. 1979, 1980, with the Judge Child was Quest was the first Judge Dredd story where they began to co-write. That had come to a close by this point. They had effectively parted ways, not in acrimony, but they just decided that they wanted different things. You have The Last American, which is the series that they did together with Mick McMahon for Marvel's Epic line. And then they'd dabbled together in Batman, because of course the ventriloquist.
Right. What a good arc.
Exactly.
I love that ventriloquist story.
But that's them trying to apply their writing style to Batman. It was always going to suit Alan better at the end of the day, because John just isn't a superhero guy. But then you get Judgment on Gotham, where these worlds collide together. And I think, just coming back to your point, Alex, about the lack of satirical, I think that's probably a byproduct of them being at this moment in their careers, in their partnership, in where Dredd was at the time. Bear in mind that the previous year, the Necropolis mega epic had ended, when which many saw as what should have been John Wagner's swan song on the character.
Is that why Judge Death is so present in this book?
So he's always been so incredibly key, and he's also kind of an unassailable monolith as regards Dredd. If you are going out to a new market, to a new audience, there's two, maybe three characters people know from Judge Dredd. One is Judge Dredd himself, one is Judge Anderson, and the other one is Judge Death.
Right.
And so if you're going to pick a baddie, exactly, you've got to pick Judge Death. Importantly, though, this is when Judge Death starts to become something of a figure of fun.
Right. The judge who laughs, if you will.
I come now.
What's that about?
What? I don't see anything here.
But yeah, it's Judgment on Gotham is this crossroads of all these different things. And you're entirely right, Alex, that there isn't necessarily any seriousness there. It's just the bombast. It's just the spectacle. It's just, Simon's artwork is without subtlety.
Yeah.
So
that's what's
actually
glorious about it.
Exactly. So actually, what is the point of writing Simon Bisley a subtle, nuanced, satirical story when he's going to have Batman punching Dredd in the face? He's going to have Judge Death with a rib cage with a meat hook through the corner of it,
Yeah. Just some really fantastic spreads here, like when Judge Anderson reads Batman's mind. I think that's my favorite splash page in the whole book. What a great little collage there.
Oh, bust out.
Yeah. There we
That's
go.
the one right there.
It's the fact that the speech, it's not on the cover to the special edition, but there's just a single speech bubble from Dredd that just says, not Dredd, from Anderson, that just says weird.
Weird.
Yeah. Anderson picking up one of Alan Grant's Batman comics, thumbing through it and just going, weird.
I mean, talk a little bit, just to kind of go wide on it. Talk a little bit about a bit more about Alan Grant's legacy on Batman because
Sure.
as you say, he was a blockbuster writer, and so from my memory, so many characters who are now taken for granted, particularly the villains,
Oh yeah.
come from his run.
He created ventriloquist. He created Mr. Zaz. He basically in the 1990s create uh him and I guess Grant Morrison with Arkham Asylum together kind of created the way we see one of the concrete settings of Batman comics today, kind of defining what Arkham Asylum looks like and how it operates and how it kind of looms as this specter of Batman's great coterie of villains. He created Anarchy, who is this very kind of like biting satirical character of like what justice looks like. He was just hugely influential in the early period of defining Tim Drake as a Robin for the modern age, how to get beyond the shorts and pixie boots of Burt Ward. Like, what does a modern kid sidekick look like in the 90s? That was a huge contribution of Alan Grant. His Batman is arguably the definitive Batman of the 1990s and defines the
Period.
character just going into the mega crossover events that would come after Alan. Just like kind of the first kind of like the huge wave of new fans created by the 1989 Batman movie who were like all coming to the comics because Batmania had swept over the world and everyone wanted to see this darker version of Batman. Alan Grant was the one who shepherded that audience from the movies into the comics. So much of the way we think of Batman as this grim figure, it was something that Alan Grant created.
Amen.
I mean, you mentioned Anarchy there, which shares a lot of his DNA with a character from Judge Dredd, which is Chopper.
Tell me you
who's
have Chopper.
the teenage sky surfer rebel. And it's so fascinating to again, look at Judgment on Gotham in context and see the kind of things that they were producing. John had by this point had effectively walked away from Dredd in 2000 AD. He was still writing it for the magazine, but he'd just done America, Judge Dredd America with Colin McNeil, which you talk about the satirical aspects of Dredd. My God, that is
teeming with it.
That's the ur text of modern Judge Dredd. He ain't the good guy. Just coming back to your reaction to reading this for the first time. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have the satirical stuff. It's all about bombast. You mentioned there that it's not necessarily a great Batman comic.
Not really, no.
Right.
Batman
Explain
is a
more about
guest
that.
here in Judge
Expound
Dredd's
on
world.
that.
It feels like I said, it feels more like Alan Grant's Lobo work, where Batman is kind of there to be a straight man to Dredd's kind of hard shooting bombast, where he's kind of sucked into Dredd's world as
the straight man to the straight man.
Yes, exactly. But because I think Dredd is ridiculous in how stoic he is, whereas Batman, like in his world, is that figure, and Dredd makes him look reasonable in comparison. And if there is an interesting character dynamic in this book, that's where it is. A character who is so dedicated to the idea of law and order and justice that it makes Batman look flexible.
Wonderful.
That's the perfect endorsement, actually.
Yeah.
What was
sorry, Chloe, go on.
No, go on with yours.
Well, I was going to say it's interesting to me that they decided to make it Judgment on Gotham, so the action goes to, rather than have Batman in
In
Mega
Mega
City, well, which
City.
obviously happens in in some of the sequels.
Right.
They very much decided it was going to be in Gotham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I respect them going with Scarecrow as the villain instead of like the Root one with Joker.
That was such a good choice.
I feel like having Joker and Judge Death in the same story would be a bit too much. I love my second favorite spread in the whole thing is Scarecrow using his gas on Judge Death, and he sees all
My
the
Little
fluff,
Ponies?
like those fluffy bunnies and such. That feels like a very Lobo kind of gag.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it did make me want to see, like, you have this rare opportunity to expose what this person with such an opaque internality is like, and we're just foregoing it.
I do kind of wonder with that though. I mean, it's I feel like if you did reveal what Dredd is fearful of, if he is afraid of anything, because
Yeah.
that's the veil of Dredd.
It would
Right,
be
it's-
like just a tie-in comic telling you what the Doctor's name is from Doctor Who. It feels
Yeah,
like
it's-
we don't waste that here.
Yeah, it's a character. I mean,
Yeah.
that's actually a really good comparison, but there is this there is this veil where you just have to suspend disbelief. You know, like, of course it's not going to show what Dredd's afraid of, because Dredd's not afraid of anything.
Right.
You know,
but like, it would have been great to acknowledge that, like, have Scarecrow use the gas on him, and Judge and Anderson asks, like, hey, what did you see? And he's like, nothing you need to worry about. That would have been great.
There's actually a Judge Dredd story about basically cursed Earth fleas that infect everything, and it just becomes this plague. And you know, Dredd deals with it. And as somebody's scratching themselves, you know, why are they not affecting you? And he basically goes, I'm just not scratching. And completely dead.
Right, exactly.
Like, totally dead.
Just see him white knuckling through the gas would have been so cool. Just like tears streaming, and he's just like bam, bam. But no, I get it. You don't want to ruin the mystique. You don't want to lift the veil too much.
So here, what was your take on Mean Machine then?
Mean Machine feels like a guy Lobo would kill in one issue, and I love that about him. I don't know if like he's I don't know what his deal is in the greater Judge Dredd mythology.
Mike and I are both just like,
yeah.
Oh my god.
He would be a guy who shows up once, Lobo just completely trashes, and we never acknowledge him again.
So I can preemptively hear people screaming at this podcast right now.
Oh my god.
Because of the what we will now call the Jaffe heresy.
Yeah. Ooh, I got a dial of my moods, and 2 of them are mean, and the other ones are mean. It's okay, dude. Calm down.
Oh boy! Yeah. Wow!
Every setting is just a real shitty attitude.
The 2000 AD thrillcast is not responsible for the opinions of its guests.
As a peace offering, I will share my favorite joke about about one of my favorite DC characters. I don't know who first said this, but I don't think I've ever heard a truer thing about John Constantine. And I say Constantine in order to appease the Brits here. John Constantine is essentially a third feature 2000 AD character who got extremely lucky.
I don't know what so I can't give an opinion on this because I know several people who would be very upset with me if I came down on either side of what you've just said.
Where he's just like a guy in a trench coat dealing with freaky magic shit. It could really be anybody. He just has a shitty attitude, but he just so happened to have been written by Alan Moore. So now we are stuck with this guy forever.
I never in a million years, and don't think in any way, shape, or form that I'm regretting having you on as a guest. I never thought we'd get this spicy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Listen, I take down one of your guys, I got to take down one of my guys.
I'm just shook.
First he comes from Mean Machine, and then he comes from John
For
Constantine.
Constantine.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
My god, man. We're never having any other Americans on
Look.
here ever again.
I basically can't be trusted to book guests for this show anymore.
I'm just saying that doesn't mean that doesn't mean Mean Machine is not an interesting character. It just means that this is the kind of guy that Alan Grant introduces in Lobo all the time. Kind of what makes Mean Machine interesting is the fact that he keeps sticking around despite that.
I mean, I go on.
But Mean Machine has been around far longer than before, like the Lobo that we think of.
That's
right?
Fair enough. The only frame of reference I have for him is this comic.
And
if this was my only frame of reference for Batman, I would not be that impressed.
Well, basically, he's a guy who's a little touched. He's had some stuff done to him. There's a lot of bad things. And so now he has no emotional control.
Sure.
So going up to 4 means like basically the equivalent of a category, hurricane.
A DEFCON whatever.
Yeah, sure. A DEFCON 7. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like coming straight at you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I actually think it's really funny, the whole like, I go to 1 and 2 and I'm in a bad mood, and then I go to 3 and 4 and then I'm in a
really bad mood.
But it is the point that Mean Machine is effectively Lobo's granddaddy, in terms of character.
Yeah.
So much of what goes into Lobo, Alan and John were working out. And also, Alan's work on a lot of his independent comics as well. You see, they see these basically a bampot, like an aggressive, Scottish person.
If Keith Giffen designed Lobo to be a satire of hyper masculine comic book characters, Mean Machine is the kind of character he had in mind when he was creating that satire.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can see that, but I think what
on a surface level, I would say that's true. But in considering, because there have been several comics that kind of go into why Mean Machine is the way that he is, and honestly, like the outcome of Mean Machine in comics history, as we know it so far, is actually fucking heartbreaking. So like, but I would say that's more true for Lobo than it is for Mean Machine, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can follow you there. Maybe drop me a Mean Machine reading rec so I can
do.
So I can repent my heretic ways.
But
I'm happy to walk out of a podcast with a reading list.
Well, one thing that I think you really touched on something there was you said that Lobo would dispatch Mean Machine in 1 issue. And of course, that was one of the early problems that Wagner and Grant found with Judge Dredd, is they kept killing off all of the villains.
Oh yeah, that was a big problem with Lobo too.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why Judge Death exists, because
you
know
can't
he's
kill
undead,
Death.
so you can't get rid of him. But also the Mean Machine and the Angel Gang, of which he was a member, were killed off in the Judge Child. After their first appearance, they were killed off in the Judge Child quest.
Sure.
And John and Alan then contrived to resurrect them. In Mean's case, multiple times. Like he just kept coming back like a bad penny.
Well, like a
beloved bad penny.
Yeah. Like Star from Preacher, I guess, where like every time he comes back a little worse.
Yeah. But yeah, and then you get into some of the later stories where, and this is a not a unique feature, but a very important feature of Judge Dredd, that the characters do age over time, and to the point where you have a story where Mean Machine is basically a geriatric, like he's just an old man.
Does Judge Dredd happen in real time?
Yeah.
How old is Judge Anderson? How old is Dredd? How do they
This
what have they been
this
doing
is
this since the 70s?
yeah.
Yeah.
So
How,
this is a
how does
topic.
that work?
This is a topic of debate. It's the future,
Okay.
most importantly.
Good drugs.
Yeah. Dredd. I mean, Dredd's been rebuilt multiple times. He's got bionic eyes, etc., etc.
Yeah,
Healing
he's
pods,
RoboCop at this point.
fancy technology.
Even if you don't factor in the fact that he's a clone and there's all these other things, he's probably 70s or 80s now.
Okay.
Anderson 50s, 60s. But it's important. It's the future.
Right. Okay. So they got good surgery to keep you looking.
Yeah. But it does allow creators to do interesting things with characters like Mean Machine, to have him age out.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a son at one point, and he basically ends up in a nursing home.
It's so sad. It's so sad. It's so sad.
I mean, he'd been lobotomized like what, 5 times?
Yes.
That's my favorite thing about Kurt Busiek's Astro City, that it's like a superhero world that changes in real time. Like the comics that come out in the 2020s take place 30 years after the comics came out in the 90s.
Yeah.
What a good book. Yeah. So one thing I've been thinking about a lot, especially in regards to like whenever I approach a crossover, is that when you talk about comic book crossovers or like media crossovers in general, I feel like there are two kinds of crossovers: portals and non-portals. This is a portals crossover where you necessitate some kind of like multiverse sort of scenario where someone has to cross over to somebody's world. Whereas you take in contrast the early Marvel DC crossovers like Superman versus the Amazing Spider-Man, where the premise was, hey, these guys just always existed in the same world. We just don't talk about it. And it makes me think about what it would be like if Batman Dredd took the other approach and Dredd just encountered his world's version of Batman instead of contriving to go to Gotham City.
So he has.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, I mean, he's the strip has taken a not great view of superheroes over the year. In particular, Fairly Hyperman, which is his Superman. Which
one step above Mad Magazine's Super Duper Man, sure.
Right. So
yeah,
things like Mad are actually quite a significant influence on 2000 AD.
Makes sense.
You know, the kind of stuff from the 70s into the 80s, you know, it's and we have our own satirical tradition, you know, out of which comic books came.
Yeah. Okay. I know the Beano.
But yeah, so there was Fairly Hyperman. Chloe, what was the Batman one?
I don't know.
My mind's gone blank. We did a collection with it on the front. Here we go. The Cape and Cowl Crimes, and it was the story Bat Mugger.
Perfect.
Thank you. Yes.
Beautiful. Yeah. That's what I was looking for. What would the bat? Yeah. How do you do this without portals?
Yeah. So that's basically John Wagner with Alan Davis.
Yeah.
And I mean it ends. Well, you can say predictably, but ultimately all Judge Dredd stories end predictably. That you know, someone gets the
guest gets horribly killed. Yeah.
But I mean, so there was a collection in 2017 called The Cape and Cowl Crimes, which had Fairly Hyperman, Bat Mugger, my personal favorite, which I think is a Garth Ennis one, which is the Juve Mutated Kung Fu Clegs, which
that's a good one.
Were a hell of a lot of fun. Yeah, along with various other kind of you know superhero.
Why does it not surprise me that this is a Garth Ennis joint?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like with the sheer amount of history of Judge Dredd, it was damn near impossible for them to not tackle the idea of vigilantism
Of course.
in the like Mega City 1 universe, especially because, I mean, frankly, across those 50 years, any excuse to piss in the eye of the superhero comics industry will be taken with gusto.
That leads me to another question. The biggest thing happening with Batman in the past couple of years is Absolute Batman, which kind of seeks to
Mhm.
reinvent him from the ground up and like create this like more extreme version of Batman with these like more modern ideals and more modern fears that he tackles and just like dial everything up to the 200s. I want to ask, what would an absolute Judge Dredd be like?
So we actually did an episode on this about 3 weeks ago, I think.
Perfect. Okay.
And we basically landed on the idea that you kind of can't.
He's already that guy.
That it's well, because Judge Dredd is such a continual strip. It has been
Mhm.
going for almost 50 years now. It's like 49 and a half years that it's been going. So many different stories have been told, so many what ifs have been done, thought of, answered, and then answered again. And honestly, like Dredd is such an enigmatic powerhouse of a character. You combine all of that, and there is no real ultimate way to do an
Right.
absolute Judge Dredd.
Be
Like
redundant.
there's so many, like the possibilities are so incredibly endless, and at the end of the day, all of those, what if this happened, what if this happened to Dredd would all land back at it's still Dredd.
Yeah, he's immutable.
You know,
Mm.
he
I mean,
he's not shifting for anybody.
Right.
one of the things that's been happening recently with Ken Nyman's work on Judge Dredd is effectively alternative versions of Judge Dredd have come through and
Sure.
are now currently kind of merging in a mega
Dreadverse.
epic that's ongoing this summer. So you've got Old Man Dredd,
Hmm.
who,
Sure.
who's running around in various
Which
of
would
the.
technically be the current Dread, as I come to understand.
Hey,
Dredd
they're
if
all
he
old
were
men.
allowed to age.
Right.
Yeah. Don't forget, Dredd's also got a clone
Mm,
running around as well, who's also a judge.
Hmm.
And they just sometimes team up.
yeah,
Sure.
like you do.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want a buddy cop movie?
Yeah, he's the only one who
Um,
really understands him.
I do need to make a correction, actually. Unfortunately, it was incorrect. Juve Mutated Kung Fu Clegs, I am told, is not a Garth Ennis one.
Oh.
It was Andy Lanning and Steve White.
Oh, I love Andy
Ah.
Lanning. Andy Lanning.
So apologies to them for
Great work.
getting that wrong. But
One of the
incredible.
few tolerable Legion of Superheroes writers.
Also.
Yeah. But yeah, some incredible artwork by Dermot Power on that. I kind of want to bring things back around and also bring them to a close, because this is, we could probably keep on going like this for like
We can waffle forever.
Please,
a good
yeah.
few hours. If a Batman reader, if a DC Comics reader has never picked up a Judge Dredd comic,
Mhm.
what would you say to them to get them to pick up this?
You really want to see, you really do not want to miss out on Simon Bisley drawing Batman. I think the way he draws Batman in this is something, as a Batman fan, especially if you're into Batman as he was portrayed in the 90s, you can't miss that here. It like I don't think there's much to recommend a Batman fan from the Judge Dredd aspect of it. But like, if you are a fan of the like more bombastic side of Alan Grant's work, you're going to find a lot of that here. I suspect that the Lobo Judge Dredd comic is probably better than this one. But if you're a Batman fan and you want to see what like a 2000 AD team would do with Batman, this is a great option.
I mean, it's worth noting. I mean, so one of the greatest frames in Judge Dredd history is called "Gaze into the Fist of Dread," where Judge Fear, who's one of the Dark Judges alongside Death, literally tries to do the thing that you are suggesting the Scarecrow should have done.
Oh shit!
Yeah, yeah.
Please lay it on me. What happens?
Judge Dredd. So Judge Fear opens the. He's got a portcullis kind of gate thing on his helmet, and he opens it up and he stares into Dredd's face, and Dredd not only isn't scared, he punches him through his helmet.
I absolutely love that. Oh, that's so good.
And clearly,
that's so good.
I've got my case files 5. Hang on.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh
my God, it's Mike in shorts.
Shut up. It's really hot here. But yeah, I don't know if you can see that, Alex.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that if he did that to Scarecrow, that is what would get Batman fans interested in Judge Dredd.
Well, I mean, I'll read you the caption of this, because this is Brian Bolland artwork as well.
Oh, baby, height of his powers.
For a moment, the icy chill of terror courses down Dredd's spine. The shock of this gaze can kill an ordinary man, but Dredd is a judge, and judges are not ordinary men. Gaze into the fist of Dredd. So
that's so good. Okay,
having that being like,
I'm congratulating myself here for being correct. That that would have indeed been awesome.
You then have, of course, Batman.
Yeah, doing it again right over here.
Directly referencing Gaze into the Fist of Dredd, but it's Batman who's punching Judge Dredd in the face and screaming, "You call that justice?" And it just, I mean, you're entirely right. This kind of represent. I mean, bear in mind that this is in Judge Dredd continuity.
Oh, is it?
All the crossovers are in Judge Dredd.
All the crossovers are canon.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that makes sense. This does end on a note where, like, Anderson kind of has Judge Death in her head. I guess, like, later Judge Dredd comics would have to follow up on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Judge Death keeps coming back multiple times, but it's such a. My brain keeps screaming the word anomaly at me, but that's not the right word. It's a kind of a curate's egg in that it is all of these things. It's all of these influences. Is, not just the career of Alan Grant at the time, not just the career of Simon Bisley, not just what happens after or what happens before, but it's all these elements, and they come together. And you know what?
What?
It's just fun.
It is fun.
It's just a good time.
Yeah.
It does make me curious.
It's just fun.
Other than Batman and Lobo, where are the other worlds that Dredd has gone? Who else has he seen? Just not the parodies, but like, are there has he ever met any Marvel characters? Has he met other 2000 AD characters?
Oh yeah, he's met other 2000 AD characters.
Right.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So he's met Rogue Trooper,
sure,
and Strontium Dog.
Strontium Dog.
He's met Robo Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
There's quite a few, and also bear in mind there are stories, because I don't know if you know, 2000 AD is edited by an alien called Tharg the Mighty.
I know about Tharg the Mighty. I've read enough 2000 AD to know about Tharg.
There are stories in which Tharg features, and characters are literally stuffed into filing cabinets in the 2000 AD nerve center for when they're not. Then there's not going to be any more stories with them, or they weren't particularly well liked. But in terms of other characters, I mean, there's the aliens.
Alien and Predator. Yeah, I'm seeing that here.
The Alien and Predator ones. We've just announced the Judge Dredd crossover with Biker Mice from Mars.
Oh, fun! Not doing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Not doing Street Sharks, the third tier one. That sounds perfect.
For contractual reasons, not third tier.
Well, look, I will say they are more important. They are more significant than the Cowboys of Moo Mesa. I'll put them above those guys.
I've never heard of them.
Yeah,
but yeah,
something to look up after this.
it's going to be a very fun and unusual and odd crossover in time for just before our Judge
No, I
Dredd's
love
50th
that. Yeah.
birthday. And
What a way to
hopefully,
celebrate. We're meeting the
exactly,
biker
exactly.
mice, guys.
And also, hopefully,
Yeah.
there's more crossovers in
Yeah.
the pipeline. But
Next, we're going to see the Battle Toads.
Hey,
Good
I want a
God.
crossover with Galaxy Rangers and
Yeah.
Visionaries.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
Chloe's just like, what?
You know what? I bet it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But it's the thing about the crossovers for Aliens and Predator, they're played absolutely straight.
Mhm.
And the Alien one in particular, I've not read the Predator one for ages, but the Alien one, that's Andy Diggle with Henry Flint on artwork, and that is genuinely that's probably one
Incredible.
Oh, that's going to be
probably
great.
one of the best Alien comics, actually.
Period. Done. That's it. Put it to
Yeah.
bed. It totally is.
Yeah.
The best alien comic.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, look, we've been going for a while, and Alex said,
Yeah, sorry to take so much of your time. This is just fascinating.
No, not at all.
No,
This
it's
is
great.
fantastic. We always like rambling.
Yeah.
I'm just afraid that if we go any longer, you're going to come out with some more heretical viewpoints that are going to have people unsubscribing.
We're 250 years old here in America. We're getting punchy.
So, Alex, if people want to find you online, where are the best places?
Best place to find me, I am the host of the Insert Credit Show, a video game podcast that's been running since 2012, where I ask some of the smartest people I know in games the stupidest questions I can think of. I am very active on Blue Sky, alexjaffe.bisky.social, where I answer questions about DC Comics all day. And I'm also a writer for DC.com. I run the Ask the Question column, where I answer the trickiest mysteries and conundrums that people have for about the history of DC Comics, no matter how granular or obscure. And I'm always interviewing talent there. I'm always recommending some of my favorite obscure DC books, and that's a good place to find my work.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for this. This has been just an absolute hoot.
Yeah.
It's great to have you on, and I hope we have begun your Judge Dredd journey.
Sure. Yeah. Invite me back when you do Lobo.
Oh, absolutely. Wonderful. Well, so thank you, Earthlets, for listening to In Orbit every Wednesday. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please do let us know what you think in the comments on YouTube and Facebook and Blue Sky. Thrillmail at 2000ad.com. Thrillmail at 2000ad.com for I won't say hate mail, but certainly strident opinions.
Yeah.
Strongly worded letters.
I'm just saying I am just getting to know Mean Machine. My opinion may change the second time I read him.
Let's hope that saves you in the long run. But yes, Chloe and I will be back in 7 days' time for more from the Galaxy's Greatest Podcast. So until then, it's goodbye from myself. It's goodbye from Chloe. It's goodbye from Alex.
Goodbye, Bastages.
And as always, Splendid Verthrig.
See you next week.
Get 2000 AD now. Get